Jen here, and I have a Wild Whisper design team project for you. I am working on my ABC Scrappy Challenge mini album that I'm creating. It's a challenge that Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life is hosting. I'll leave a link to the Facebook page so you can go and check it out if you'd like. And I'm up to the letter E, which is ephemera. And you can see here in this iris container, I have a ton of Wild Whisper ephemera. So I thought it would be really fun to combine this challenge with my design team layout for this week to see how much ephemera I can get used up. So my mini album is basically just a bunch of pictures from my daughter's competition season last year, and I went ahead and pulled out a bunch of Project Life cards, and I'm just gonna try and get all the way through the alphabet using Christy's challenges to be able to scrap her competition season last year. We're kind of missing competition this year. Obviously, all of our competitions have been postponed. We're fingers crossed they're only postponed and not canceled. And so this has kind of been a fun way for us to just reminisce about last year's season and wish that we could be at competitions this year. And so the letter E is ephemera, so I pulled out my iris container filled with ephemera, and then the letter F is frames and florals. And so wouldn't you know it, Wild Whisper's floral collection just happens to have a couple of frames. So right here on this card, I got both E and F. I'm not combining all of the letters, but for this particular challenge, I am. So I'm going to do 3 cards, and I'm going to combine E, F, and G, just because they all kind of worked out really perfectly, and yeah, I loved it. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. So you saw me cut apart that frame and kind of piece it back together to fit over the picture. And then I pulled out a bunch of the florals to kind of put along the side of that picture. And now I'm just using this stamp from the Focus on You collection. That's like their very first collection way back when. But I love this stamp. I love the words strong, brave, and fierce. I didn't really need the survivor, so I'm cutting that out. And I just used some embossing powder from Emerald Creek to go ahead and emboss that stamp in that same kind of navy blue that you see in the bigger floral. I love that color. And I didn't really like the card that I had for this picture, especially when it came to the florals I was picking. So that background paper is actually just a scrap I had left from the Fur Babies collection, and I kind of liked the gray and burgundy, so I just covered up my card. And if you want to see this entire album, I have videos for A and B and C and D up on my channel, so I will leave a little I card and leave some links for you if you want to check out how far I've gotten. So there I just outlined that card with a white chalk marker and did a little bit of journaling, and that's it for now. I do come back to that card. And that card is just Kaylin kind of popping out of her little IKEA tent that we have. She uses that when she has quick changes or changes where she kind of has to take everything off and put a whole new costume back on. And it also has a little rack at the top so that she can hang costumes and stuff like that in there. So she was kind of being funny and popping out of there and making a face. So that's what that picture is. Now the letter G is globe. And so I decided when I was doing this picture, which is a selfie that I had taken before we left on one of the road trips we had to take for a dance competition, I thought that it would be kind of fun to use the idea of the globe to kind of represent the fact that if you're a dance competition family, if you're a competitive gymnastics family, hockey, lacrosse, swimming, you name it, almost any, Kaylin popped in to say hi. Any kind of competitive sport, you usually have a lot of traveling to do. And so I thought the globe was kind of a good representation of just travel and having to travel a lot. So that globe is from the WhereToNext collection, which was new this year. And then that little green piece also says WhereToNext, which I thought worked really good because we're headed to the next competition. I pulled out those little suitcases too, and then I was thinking about using that metal piece that comes from the RoadTrip collection, but that ends up not making it onto this card. I did want to put a flare on here though. I'm going to attach all of these cards by a just a binder ring, so it's okay for me to have some dimension. And I kind of like the way that that flare gives that kind of 3D depth to the globe. And it is just a map. You can see the ephemera piece that's right by my left hand. That's exactly what the flare is. So I'm going to layer these up and get them stuck down. This card ends up being pretty simple. I broke my tape runner, as you can see, so I'm trying to make it work, but I do end up chucking it. And I put a little bit of tape runner and some wet glue on there. The wet glue holds that ephemera really, really well, and then the tape runner just kind of holds it temporarily so that I can move it around and I don't have to worry about it slipping in that glue. It doesn't slip too often actually, because that's the quick dry glue from Scotch, but just in case. And then on that actual project life card, there is a white banner, or there was a white banner that I covered up. So I thought for my journaling, I would go ahead and recreate that white banner using just, this is a card that I didn't think I would end up using. So I cut the bottom off and created the banner. Actually, I used the top of that card to emboss the words from the last card, the Strong, Brave, Fierce. So I just used the bottom of it to make a little white banner for my journaling. And now I'm going to do a few splatters. There are little splatters on that globe, so I thought I would go ahead and do a few splatters elsewhere. I kind of regret it because you can see here, I'm going to show you, that card soaked up some of that splatter, but it's okay. We're going with it. Accidents happen. It still looks pretty. So while that's drying, I decided it would be nice to have some sequins in my little florals. So this sequins pack from KaezMum Scraps has that beautiful dark burgundy color that matches the paper. So I went ahead and put that in, and then kind of an iridescent one. And then here you can see that's a little bit more dry. So those are the first two cards. And now here on this back card, this is the back of that card. There you go. I just showed you. So this is how I printed these two pictures. The selfie was on top of this one, so printed as a 4x6, but horizontally. And so this is just the view out our front window as we were driving. And you can see it was just blue skies and prairies all the way. We're headed east here, so we're headed towards the prairies. And it was just a really beautiful drive. So I went ahead and, well, I got my husband to snap a picture because I was driving. And now I'm going to embellish it. So here I want to kind of challenge myself to use all three letters. So obviously I've got the ephemera part down pat because I'm using ephemera. And there I have the frame and the florals, and I'm going to get a globe in there too. So I stuck my picture down. I felt like I might as well go ahead and stick that down because there's not a lot of place I could put it. And then I kind of like the idea of framing just this central part where the road meets the horizon. So I'll go ahead and stick that down. And I was trying to decide whether I should cut that frame like I did with the first one or leave it. So I thought maybe I could fill up that space with the florals, and then I scrapped that whole idea and I decided to put the globe right where the road meets the horizon. I think this looks super cool. I don't know why, it just made me so happy to do this. And then I took that RoadTrip license plate and put that on top of the globe. So, yay, I think this looks really neat. Yeah, and then I'm going to put some floral in the bottom corner and in the top corner, and boom, I was able to get all 3 letters onto this one card, and I love it. I think it turned out really nice. I love the colors. I love that yellow. There's something about yellow right now that I'm really gravitating towards, so this really excited me. And here you can go a bit of a closer view. And yeah, I got tons of ephemera used up. I got my frames, my florals, and my globes. Challenge met. I will leave the Facebook link down below so you can check out the ABC Scrappy Challenge. And also my discount code DTGen gets you 10% off of your next purchase at Wild Whisper. So make sure you use it. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Until next time, happy scrapping. Stay safe. Bye.